Okay, friends, we are live for the first time in the Julie's Paint Party Facebook group, which is new. I just figured it's a good idea to change it up a little bit. I just like that when you're actually in my group, and I announce something, you guys actually see it. So that's a really big bonus. So I really appreciate you taking the time to join the group and be here with me and get those jitters out for the back to school starting and whatnot. I'm just gonna get in here for a second. So, obviously, like usual, it's been a little while since we've had a paint party together, but if you're here, say hi so I know you're here and I can say hi to you back. Like, I'm going to put it right here. Hold on. Say hi. Say hi. Because I like to say hi back. Where's that painting that we're doing today? Here we go. Let's get it in the shot. Bobat. And yep, tell me where you're from, what you've been up to. Let me know if you are going back to school or if you're sending your kids back to school. Keep me posted. I would love to know. And that's why I just figured painting makes me feel very relaxed. And it's the one time in my life where I feel really connected and I feel solace and happy. And it kind of is one of those things that whenever there's something not that needs to be figured out, whenever I paint, the answers come to me. So I really love that about painting. And let me know if that's how you feel too. Hi, Caitlin. Super duper talented Caitlin. Caitlin sent me an email the other day of all of the paintings that she's been doing, and they are literally perfect. So, yay! I don't know, it's not me, it's you. That's for sure. Oh, hey, Angelica. Susan. Which one is it? Is it Angelica or Susan? I wonder. Let me know. Let me know, yo. I've been running around working on stairs all day. Well, that's not actually true. I've been helping my husband with putting in some stairs, and it's making me feel a little hot just thinking about it. I'm really hoping that people can find me in the Facebook group. This is like I said, this is the very first time that I'm actually hosting in the actual Facebook group. So we'll see how she goes. And I don't have any sense of time right now, so I might cut in and out for a second. I thought I had something. You know what? Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to, what can I use to see the time? That's not my phone. I don't have a watch. My iPad is dead. Whatever do I do? Maybe I'll just plug in my iPad. Give me 1 second. I'll be back in 1 second. If you're watching, say hi. It's like, do I have an iPhone charger? And I looked in my drawer. Yeah, I have one for the old iPad. I have one for my new iPad. And honestly, I don't even know where the other one came from. Lucky me. Perfect. All right, good. I'm seeing people are popping in now. That's awesome. Because I'm really looking forward to doing this with you guys. I've literally never taught this painting before, so that's fun. It's always really fun figuring out the whole what am I going to say while we're teaching situation. And if you're just popping in, let me know you're here, friends. Let me know you're here. And if you are going back to school, let me know what grade you're going into. Let me know if you're staying home or actually going back. If you're parents, let me know if you're sending your kids, and yeah, keep me in the loop. Keep me in the loop. I need to know. Oh, good, Shani. That's awesome. She says, hello, my daughter and I are back again. We had such a great time painting a woodland animal with you. Sweet. Love me my woodland creatures. That's for sure. They're so cute. Good news. I think I might have mentioned it at our last party, but I'm so close. 6-7 math teacher teaching at home. So like virtually then. Welcome to the club. Oh man. I can't even express my gratitude to all the teachers. Thank you so much for showing up for the kids. It's just, weird times. But I truly feel like, if you can stay positive and see the good in most of the situations, even though it's challenging, I feel like we're going to get through this for sure. This next little bit of time that's going to be very trivial. Secondary school teacher, and you're teaching from home. Perfect. Awesome. And I have my little daughter who just turned 4, and she's going into JK this year. But I work from home, so I am going to keep her home. And I just figure she might as well stay home if I'm here anyways. And she's just starting school, so no sense. If I don't need to send her, it's all good. Caitlin is going into grade 10, and you're doing half online, half in school. That's cool. That's a great way to do it. Then you get the best of both worlds. It's, yeah. Because let's be honest, it's nice, even if we can't hug and touch our friends, it's really nice to be near them and get that energy from our friends and stuff. I love that. I feel like I was saying something, but I've completely lost my train of thought. So just bear with me. Oh, hey, Robin. Yeah, no school. That's good. That's good. Oh, yeah. Emma is 10 years old in Corona, California, remote learning grade 5. All right. That's awesome. I personally absolutely adore California. And that's so cool that you're here painting with us today. So thanks for showing up. And I can imagine that, because I'm old school, born in the 80s kid, I feel like it might have been a little bit more difficult for me to learn online, but our kids are growing up in a technologically advanced society. So, I can imagine that it's as much a difficulty as there is with it. Everybody has their own way of learning, and if it works for you, it's going to work. So that's great. It's interesting seeing all the different decisions being made. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say is I'm this close, okay? This close to republishing my Project Monsters Alphabet Adventure book. This is a children's book that I wrote and illustrated about 7 years ago. And man, it took me, I'm gonna say 6 to 8 months of solid 12-hour days to illustrate this book. So it was a very long endeavor. And then after launching it and selling it and doing all the things, I got kind of burnt out and I kind of lost interest in it. But I'm really excited to bring it back to life. So it will be available on Amazon. I self-published. So the first time I just dealt books out with my hands in the mail, old school styles. But it will be available on Amazon. And the first time I wrote it, it was written in Canadian. And I have now changed it so that it's for everybody, not just Canadian. And what that means is that we say Z, or are supposed to say Z in Canada, but I made it to Z instead. So the rhyming with the letter Z is now Z and not Z, and so on and so forth. It's really complicated. Just kidding. Very not complicated. And then I'm also gonna launch, I'm putting together a free coloring book for everybody so you can color the characters. And then I'm also going to offer free art classes to go along with the book so we can draw all the characters in the book. So that will be fun. And that'll probably get started in October, I think. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, who else is here? Markia and Ikea from GS Troop 204 here. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for showing up, guys. Sarah and Leah, 7th and 3rd grade online. All right, and thanks, Shani. Yeah, I'm excited to get that started. I literally have no idea, so bear with me for 1 second. I'm just going to check the time. And I can't see it. Hold on. Okay, sorry if you lost me for a second there. Okay, so we have 2 minutes left before we get started. What I would like you guys to do is just, if you don't have it set up already, get your paint station set up. So I have all my colors here. I have a cup of water and I have a few different brushes. And then this is, my phone is duct taped to this thing right now. So my husband just got a brand new tripod in the mail yesterday. So I'm going to hook that up for our next party. And then I'm going to have my paint set up there. So we're going to shoom, 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 shoom. I'm going to talk and we're going to paint and it's going to be super fun. But since we're kind of getting in the mode of getting started, I am going to squirt my paints on my plate right now. So whenever I'm painting, I always put like whatever I need at the moment. So I'm going to put all the colors on my plate except for black, because one tiny little swish of black and you don't recognize it and you put it on your canvas and then you have a big black thing, paint stroke across the beautiful sunny sky and you have to fix it and that's no fun. So if I don't need it on my plate to start, I just wait until I absolutely need it to put the black on my plate. And hi, Donna and Hannah. Yay. What does GS Troop mean? What's GS? Can you explain that to me? I'm a little unseasoned in that department. So I have a little yellow and a little white. And, you know, like I said 100 times, my paint parties are not really for professional painters. We just use dollar store paints. That's all you need to make a beautiful painting. Painting is something that we do because it makes us feel good. Oh, Girl Scout Troop. Oh, perfect. Yay. Okay, that's... See, guys? Very cool. Thanks, Jenny. I agree. I totally agree. Okay, so what I got on my palette to start, most of the background is going to be yellow and white and orange. And I put the red on there, but that's actually not until later, so that's probably going to dry up while I'm just waiting to paint. So we'll do the whole background, and then we'll make grass, and then we'll make trees, and then we'll put leaves on them, and that's how it's going to go down there. Let's see if I can get this going. And I believe it's probably 6:15 now. Can somebody confirm that for me? I can see there's people popping in. Yay, friends. I'm so glad you're here to paint with me. Oh, I think I got something in my eye. Hold on a sec. Oh, I did. You know, every once in a while, I have a dog. His name's Radio, and his hair's getting long. And my eyes are so big and sensitive that I'll be petting him, and like one fine little hair will get whooshed into my eye. And I just found it. Like, come on, Radio. With that, we'll get started. Okay, 6:16, let's get this party started. So anybody who has never met me, I am Julie. Thank you so much for showing up today. My party, I do love to party, but my business is Julie's Paint Party. And Personally, painting is legit my favoriteest thing to do in the world. I find it incredibly therapeutic, and that is why I decided that I was going to do a couple free paint parties this week before we go back to school, because whether you're learning online or learning in person, there is definitely a stress involved with getting your stuff together, getting yourself ready, getting your kids ready to be a part of this newfound experience that none of us have experienced before. So let's just admit it. It's stressful, and can definitely cause anxiety and not that sense of unknowing. And painting for me is actually such a action that I can take where I can dive in and kind of center myself so I do know. And I know that sounds kind of funny sometimes, but really, I get my best ideas when I'm painting. I get clarity and I get peace. So those three things are absolutely fantastic for this time in our lives. Am I right? Am I right? Right. Yes. Okay. So what I would like us to do is just take a deep breath. We're going to be making lots of noises for this party, so let's just let it out. Get it out. Whatever kind of nerves you have around painting or whatever's coming up, just let it all out. There is no sense in feeling uptight in this party, because we're here to feel good. And hi, Rosalie. Thanks for showing up. Okay, so with that said, let's just also remember that even though it's really nice to make a beautifully perfect painting, we're not here to make perfect paintings, okay? We are here to let go of whatever nerves we have. We're here to just make a beautiful painting, and it will be beautiful if you enjoy the process. And that's what it's all about. It's only about enjoying the process. It has nothing to do with the outcome. All right. So let's let go of all the outcomes, and we'll dive into feeling good right now. Okay. So I have my palette here, and we're going to be using white and yellow and orange to get started. And I'm just going to move over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start. Oh, I got to keep pulling back. I'm not used to having my canvas. What is this? Horizontal, not vertical, horizontal. And I am going to start with a little bit of water on my brush today. So we're going to be starting with a circle, and we're going to be adding a little bit of water to our paint just to keep it nice and loose, and it makes it really easy to move around. And you're going to see the more you move your arm around. I hope you guys have been working out, because I know for me, it hurts my arms. So what I'm going to do is I dab my brush in my water, and I'm just going to make a little pool right next to my white here. So I have a little water pool, and I'm just going to start by adding a little water into my paint, into my white. And I'm not the whole thing, just on the side, and I can gently bring paint into that little bit of water that I put on there. And I know it's counterintuitive to put white on a white canvas, but it just gets it started, and it's a great way to start without any, there's no messing up putting white on a white canvas. So right in the center, I'm just going to start to make a circle. All right. Feeling so good. You know what? I've been painting for 25 years or so. And I always feel a little nervous before I start a painting, so it's okay if you feel nervous. You can't really see the white on there, but it's on there. It's about this thick on there, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of yellow now, and I'm going to mix it in with my white. And I'm going to start right in the center, and I'm going to just move my brush out. Okay, so it's a nice, really light color of yellow. And once my circle starts to get a little bit bigger, I start to go like one side, then the other side, and one side, then the other side. So I'm not expecting to make these like perfect circles all the way around. You kind of gotta swoosh back and forth, and this can be the like therapeutic part of painting. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. Just keep turning and turning. out and out. And you can see it's pretty light on there, all right? So because I put white first and I mixed the yellow in with it, it's a beautiful light yellow. And I am going to dab my brush in my cup again, just to grab a little extra water, and I'm going to put it next to my yellow this time. So I'm just loosening up my yellow paint here, getting my brush nice and full. I'm not washing it yet or anything. And wherever I ended my paint strokes here, I'm just going to start going around the edges of them. So now I'm just using straight yellow, and you can see that it is actually a little bit darker than the original yellow that we used. All right. And I'm going to just keep going back and forth until my colors just start to blend together and it starts to look like a corona in the sky. Wow. How ironic, corona. I didn't even think about that. A corona is when there's a big ring around the sun. But yeah, not coronavirus, guys, corona. Anyways, so I just keep bringing my brush back and forth, and adding a little bit of water really helps move the paint around. It keeps it nice and light. And when I have a little bit of that yellow on there, I'm going to do the same thing in my orange, okay? I take a little bit of water on my brush. I'm going to put it right next to my orange paint. And it's kind of getting a little watercolory, a little loose there. And I'm just going to start to add it around this circle. Now, you can see that there's like a pretty distinct line there, right? So the secret sauce key to getting a good blend is literally just going back and forth 150 times until the two colors come together. So I'll put a line around that outer edge of my yellow, and I'll just keep going back and forth right along that line. And you can kind of like go in and out. It's kind of like breathing in and out. And see how that just kind of came together so magically? That is the secret sauce to blending. I'll do it on the other side, okay? So I got my orange on my brush there. I'm going to shh. And honestly, making a noise is also very therapeutic, and it really, really helps. So don't be afraid to make weird noises, okay? And I'm going to shh, 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 shh. Now, if you're putting your paint on and it's getting a little bit dry, which it is on mine, okay? So I have this little bit of dryness happening around the edge here, and it's not blending very well. I just go ahead, I give my brush a little dip in my cup, a little tap on my palette. Always tap on your palette before you go straight from cup to canvas. Always on the palette, because you don't want it to drip, right? And I'm just going to take that little bit of water and I'm going to go back and forth, and it just kind of helps get rid of that little bit of dryness around the edges. And I'm just going to keep moving out. So I just make this one orange circle, and then I start to go back into my yellow. So I'm going to take my yellow and I'm going to just go along here. Now, this is your painting, all right, guys? If you want to keep going yellow, or sorry, if you want to keep going orange, please do. There is no wrong way to do this. Orange and yellow at any time look amazing together. So if you want to do mostly orange, if you wanted to add even a little bit of red in the sky, you could totally do that. It does not have to be exactly like mine. This is not me telling you that well, it is me telling you how to paint, but I'm just guiding you, okay? This is your painting. You do not have to do the exact same thing as me. So at any time, if you have creative license to just keep going the way you are going. Okay, now this is looking a little dark to me, so I'm just going to add a little bit of white in. So I have this weird mixture here. I got a little bit of orange on my brush. I got some white and yellow, and it makes this peachy color. And then I'm just going to keep adding that so that it lightens it up a little bit, and I get this really nice, light, beautiful sky. White is always your friend in these scenarios. You can always add a little bit of white to lighten anything up. It really helps bring other colors together with one another. And at this point, I'm just kind of grabbing whatever color hits me first. So I got some white and some yellow here, and I'm just slapping it on. A lot of this background is going to be covered up by some of those leaves and trees, so there's no sense. It's mostly about the actual action, the physical action of adding the paint onto the canvas. So in these moments when you're going shoo, 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 I want you to just think nice, positive thoughts, just feel good, okay? It's all about feeling good, and that's what you have to say to yourself. I feel good, I feel confident. I feel like everything's going to be okay. And then you get to, I know everything's going to be okay. I got this. And I know you got this. So there's no rush. Just keep moving back and forth, okay? Back and forth. And don't forget, guys, at any time you can totally ask any questions. I got my eye on the chat there. And fill it in. So whenever I am reaching the sides of my canvas, if you're on a canvas, if you're not, then you don't have to worry about it. If you are, you don't have to worry about it. But it's always nice to have your sides finished, so when you go and put it on your mantle later, it'll be all done when you hang it on your wall or whatever. So I just go around the edges and I take whatever the last color I used and I just paint in the edges. And for me, it's like this nice little peachy color. And just keep going around the sides. Going around the sides. That's a song, right? Going around the sides. I'm just kidding. Obviously, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay. So the secret is just literally continuing to make half circles. So go one way, shoo, 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 and then go the other way, shoo, 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 and just keep on going until you feel happy. And there's a big ring around the sun. So anyways, in the original painting here, I do have a sun in the center, and we are going to be painting that on right now. So don't feel like you have to have some perfect circle in the middle at the moment, because we will be filling that in momentarily, okay? So I have worked my way all the way out to the center, or to the sides, and now I'm just kind of working my way back to the center, fixing up a few little edges, getting that circle in there. Oh yeah, that feels good. Let me know if your arms hurt. Ah, Corona. It's good. I'm complete. This is, oh, actually I didn't paint the top. So you guys finish up, and I'm gonna paint around the edges. Around the corner. Around the country. We're on the way to the convenience stores of Speedway. If you live near Michigan, you will have heard that on the radio 100 million times in your life. Kind of like the Telegraph Road song. It's like the new Here Dog, Come On Dog Telegraph Road song. And if you don't understand, that's fine too. I'm sorry if it's an inside joke. Okay. So, how's everybody feeling about their sunshine? Sunshine, I really like to tell you, oh my sunshine, even though your sky's all blue, you're drying up my bed. How can I get any rest now? Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Okay, so now that we have our ring around the rosy, I gave my brush a nice good rinse, okay? Now, depending on where the center of your circle is, You might have put it over the side, you might have put it in the middle. Wherever it is, that's up to you. So just find the center of it. And we're going to put a big white circle in the middle, okay? So I have my nice, clean, big, fat brush here. Fatty McFatterson is what I like to call him. And I'm going to go ahead and fill my brush up with some white paint. Now, I'm not going to fill it up so much that it's going to goop all over the place, so I'm just going to kind of shave off some of the excess there. So I just got my brush on the side of my palette, and I'm just pulling it back and forth so it's nice and sharp. It's got some paint on there. Yeah? See that? Okay, perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one corner as my pivot point to make my circle, okay? This is, sometimes we don't make perfect circles, and that's okay. Everybody's going to know it's a sunshine. So you can, if you want, before I get started, the bottom of our paint containers is like a perfect size. If you wanted to trace one on first, I would say that's a good idea. But just be careful, if you use like a regular pencil, it can really, and you're just using white over top, you'll end up making your sunshine a little bit gray because it'll pick up some of that lead from the pencil. So I always like using like a light colored pencil, something that's not gonna change the color of my sun. So if you used a white colored pencil right along this area here to trace your bottom of your container, that's great. But really, you really don't need a pencil, okay? You can do it. I know you can. We're gonna take a deep breath, and I'm gonna use this bottom point to pivot and turn my brush around. So here we go. I'm gonna put it straight on the canvas, and I'm gonna ta-da! So you saw that? I put my brush straight on there. I gave it some pressure, and I pushed and pulled around the sides. Now, what ends up happening is if it's a little wonky, that's okay. You just kind of have to fix it up a little bit, so you can always pull from side to side. And if you want it a little bit bigger, that's okay too. So you can always grab your brush and kind of grow it from there. And I just like to really elongate my words while I'm doing this, and just pretend like saying long words really helps my brush stay in line. And you'll see this, using just the side of my brush, I'm able to kind of push that paint around and slowly create my circle there. I'm pretty happy with that circle. If you make a perfect circle, you're probably some sort of crazy genius person, so congratulations. But it's really hard to make it super perfect, so let's not go for perfection. We're just going for done right now, okay? And when you're done that, we're gonna toss our brush in our cup and give it a good rinse, and then we're gonna throw some green on our palette, okay? So get that sun done. Personally, I have, it's called pine green, and we are going to take the pine green and make different colors of it. So we're going to use a little bit of the straight green, and then we're going to mix it with a little bit of white, and we're going to mix it with a little bit of yellow to make different shades of green, okay? You don't need a whole lot. And it's up to you. You can use one of 3 brushes for this. Okay. So if you guys are finished putting your sun on there, just give me a thumbs up. Let me know how it's going. Give me the lowdown. Give me the lowdown, Fanny. Give me the low for free. I know it's not the right words. Give me the lowdown, Fanny. And you put the low right on me. Bow, 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 now, bow, bow, now. Okay. Any thumbs ups coming in? Any thumb uppins, friends? Let me know when you're done your sun, my beauties. All right, Donna gave me a thumbs up. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Okay. All right, we're going to have to keep rolling, so let me know if those suns are done, friends. Now, like I said, for the next part, we can use, I'm just going to shut this off for a second. Okay. We're going to use, first of all, we have our green paint, and I have my yellow, and I have my white paint here. So certain grasses are going to be a little bit of a mix of yellow and green. Some are going to be yellow and white, or sorry, green and white. And then maybe there'll be some sort of trifecta color going in there. Oh, there we go. There's those thumbs uppins that I like to see. And you can either use your big fat brush to make some lines moving up. You can step it down a notch with your medium flat brush. Put your brush on there and make little grassies. Or you can use your long, skinny liner brush to do that. Personally, I'm going to stick with the big fat brush because I feel like it makes decent enough grassies. And what I like to do after I rinse my brush, I just wipe it off on my napkin, and I like to take my fingers and I smoosh it. I give my brush a little bit of a smoosh, and then it gets nice and flat. So you can see it from the side. It's nice and flat now that it's a little bit damp, and I take my fingers and I smoosh it. Okay? Smoosh it real good. All right, so it doesn't really matter what direction or what, what colors you use first or second. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start with straight green to start, okay? I'm going to put a little bit on my brush, and I'm just going to start putting random grasses around. And what we're doing is we're keeping it within the bottom 3 to 4 inches of our canvas here. I'm just going to start over here, and I'm going to start, take my brush, I put it on its side, and I flick it up, flick it up, flick it up. And sometimes you need to add a little bit of water into your paint so that it fills in those spaces, because what ends up happening if your paint is too dry, you get dry grassies, and we don't want them to be dry. So take a little dip of water, add it to the side of my paint here, and I'm just gonna, so the secret to this is get your brush filled with paint, and when you're putting it on your canvas, when you flick up, it's the bottom corner that makes the top on the grasses. So you can see I flick up, and it's the bottom corner that is the last to touch the canvas. And then you should be able to get a point on your canvas. So this will work good with any of the brush, and it's got a fat little bottom on it and a skinny little top, which is cool. So I'm just filling in a little bit of space to get started. You never know, I might come back to the dark green after. But all my grasses are a little bit separated, and I'm gonna fill in, a decent amount, because we want a little bit of grass on there. And then once I feel like it's decently full, I'm just going to take my green here. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, and over on the other side over here, I'm just going to take a little mix of green and yellow and make it more of like a leafy green. And there's no right or wrong green here. I'm just lightening it up with a little bit of yellow to start, and then I'll start adding it in there. And if it's not light enough, just add a little more yellow. And I'm going to start swooshing those in there. And yeah, filling it in, just filling it in. So once this is all nice and filled in with green, I'll take a little bit of white and mix it in there. Oh, now it's nice and light. Got this nice light colored green there. And The reality is your brush will end up getting filled up with paint. So it's a really good idea. See what I just did? I just took my brush and I kind of scraped it off on the side here, because I always want there to be like a nice flat edge on my brush. I want it to be nice and like thin. I want it to be sharp so I can make nice sharp grassies. And they can start to overlap. It's okay. They don't have to be all separated. And they start to take on some of the other colors of the other grassies, and that's cool too. So we're just going to do this in a few different layers. And at any time my brush is starting to get thick, you know what? If the brush isn't working, just, oh, I'm starting to lean here. If the brush isn't working, just give it a rinse. Rinse it off, flatten it out. Retake your fingers and squish them up. Squish them up. Get it nice and flat again. And then start grabbing some more paint. So at this point, now that there's enough green on there, I can start to just use straight yellow. Start adding some yellow highlights in there too. And sometimes you have to keep adding some more water to your paint. Honestly, everybody's is going to be a little bit different for these reasons. It's not always the same. And then you can start to layer in the other colors again. So I feel like I need more dark, so I'm going to take some more of those dark swishies. And it's just until we feel satisfied with how our grass looks here. It's just simple grass. Just filling it in. Don't forget to take deep breaths. Just remember to relax your jaw. We don't want lockjaw. We don't want to get clenchy. We want to feel free and happy. So make sure if you're feeling tense, put a smile on your face, right? This is supposed to be just for fun. I'm sure lots of these are going to turn out way better than mine. Cough, Caitlin, cough. Got so many talented people hanging out in this group. It's so awesome. It's so cool that we get to make an excuse to paint on our own time, right? And that's one of my rules of thumb. So if some painting is something you actually like to do, like anything, if you put it away, and I know some people like to be really organized and tidy, and that's really great. But I found that the only time I paint is if I have it set up already. It's like if you want to practice guitar, if your guitar isn't like in your face, if you put it away in the closet, then you're never going to see it. You should put it up on the wall if you want to practice more, right? So that's my secret to painting as well. You have to have just a little station. It doesn't have to take up a whole lot of space. Just a little spot in the corner where you already have your water cup and all your palettes and paint set up, so that you can just sit down and go whenever you're feeling like you need some painting relief. All right, I think I'm happy with that. I think I'm happy with my grassies. How are you guys feeling about your grassies? And once you just start saying grassies, it's really hard to say it normally again. So I highly suggest just keep saying grassies. I apologize for the lean on the camera. My duct tape is starting to get unhinged here. How horrible. I did have a pretty good setup before, and then I broke the nozzle off of my phone holder, so now it's all wonky. Like I said, I have a new tripod coming in the mail, so okay. And you see, this is what you can do. I'm just like, you know what? I feel like there just needs to be a few more dark green grassies, and this might be something you could work on later. Doesn't all have to always happen in one fell swoop. Sometimes you take a step back and you just kind of look and see. Okay. All right, so now is the time where I'm finally going to put the black on my palette. All right, so got my black. And you don't need a whole lot, you know, like with all the paints, you don't need to like overload your palette with your paints. You can always add extra paint if you run out. So no need to super overfill. And we can make trees, there's two different ways, all right? It depends on how you like your trees. So I'm gonna start with the easier way. And I'm gonna notch down to my medium flat brush here. So this is a 1/2 inch brush. And whenever I'm using black, because it's covering up other series of paints, I always add water in with it. So I'm just gonna take my brush, dip it in my water, and right on the side of my black, I'm gonna make a little pool of water, and I like to call this my little black paint pool, okay? And it's where I can always add a little bit of water if my brush or my paint is getting dry. Now, when you start to add the black onto your canvas, because I add the black, I should be able to get from one side of the canvas all the way up to the top. If you're putting the black on the canvas and your brush gets dry like a quarter or halfway up your canvas, that probably means you could use another drop of water in your paint, okay? So I just like to loosen it up with a little bit of water, and I'm gonna do two different types of trees, okay? One with the medium flat brush. Okay, so I got it nice and full here. I'm gonna pull it back and forth a few times just so it's nice and sharp, just like the last time I said, like for our grassies. It's nice and thin when I look at it from the side. It's nice and full of paint. And I am going to start at the bottom. I'm gonna start over on the side over here. I'm gonna start over here. I'm just gonna keep changing my mind. Okay. And I'm gonna make sure that the camera can catch this too. Okay, so I'm gonna pull in here, starting right at the bottom, and I'm gonna go shh. See? It made it from the bottom all the way to the top in one fell swoop. And then I'm just gonna take, a couple, let's do this first. Trees do have trunks, so I'm just gonna thicken it up at the bottom a little bit. And yes, it might pick up some of your grassy green, and that's okay. No worries, you can always fix it up a little bit later. No worries in the grassy green department. And then I'll just take my brush, make sure that it's nice and flat, and I'll make a few branches out the side. So I've got one going up this way, and it's very, very light. I'm not touching very hard. I'm being really chill about it. I start in my trunk and I start pulling up, and then when I'm ready, I go shoo, start pulling off, and I go up and off the canvas so that there's a nice point on the end of my sticks. So up and off. Now, just make sure that you don't have too much water on your brush, because then you can get some serious drippage going on. It's a really delicate balance of your water to paint ratios. And I'm just going to make a couple more. So I go up and off. And maybe one more. Up and off. And then maybe one more off this guy. Up and off. Up and off. All right. Now, other way to do this is with your long skinny brush. Okay, so this is my go-to tree brush, and it's the same thing. This one really works well when you put a little bit of water in your paint, and I get it nice and full. And I just feel like I have a little bit more control over my branches when I use a long skinny brush. But I do understand that some people aren't very sometimes it takes a little bit of practice to get used to it. So it's really up to you, okay? How practiced you feel with your paintbrushes, all right? So what I'm gonna do, I got it nice and full here. I'm gonna just make a couple more trees. Same deal, start at the bottom, go all the way up to the top. Now that's a skinny tree. And then I'm going to start just making some branches off. Now, your trees do not have to be this skinny. This is a very sickly, skinny tree. And I guess that's just how it goes when you use the skinny brush. And this is a nice brush too because you can push a little harder, but then you use up more paint. You can't really make it to the top every time if you're pushing a little harder with it. So start there and you just make a few branches. So what we're doing is we are making branches and we want the ends of them to generally stay up in alignment with our sunshine and above because we're going to fill them all with leaves in here. So try and keep your branches at the upper level, okay? Actually, you know what? I feel like maybe the other brush was working better today. Some days it's just, you know, better than others. Maybe I don't have enough water in my paint. But nonetheless, I don't worry myself too much about the outcome. It's just about feeling good while I'm doing it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make these fine little trees and then pretty much keep a nice big gap. This guy's going to come a little bit further. See, that's what I was missing. You got to shoop. If you shoop it, then you start to find your flow. That's where it was. That was the ticket. Just shoop it real good. Okay, so we got another full vision of this painting, and I'm gonna hop onto the other side of my sunshine. So with my brush, I just, anytime I feel like it's just dragging or it's taking too much time or it's not going on very nicely, I just add a few extra drops of water into my paint here. It just really helps loosen it up and I get my brush nice and full. So I have my brush here, it's totally full, okay? And I'm gonna go rogue with this one and go a little to the side. And I'm just gonna start making some nice dimensional trees just to bring the focus in towards the sun. So that's what's gonna happen. And then I'll go make my trunk a little thicker at the bottom. We're gonna make some grassies too, some more black grassies. This is gonna be one of those double trees. So there's gonna be like another branch that hooks onto the bottom here and really you can put as many of these little sticks at the top as you want because you need places for your leaves to live. And it's okay if your branches crisscross a little bit. A lot of them are going to be covered up. Not completely. They're going to shine through the back, but they're not going to be as prominent as they are when you first put them on. All right, couple more trees. Okay, I'm going to put one right here. And I'm getting dry, so I just add a little bit more water to my paint. Get it nice and filled up. And just keep adding it in. Just remember, you got this. Even though it's a little hard at first, you can totally make it work. And the more you practice, the better you get. General consensus, that's what I hear from my membership people anyways. And, you know, from people who have been attending my classes for a while. pre-COVID. I had a nice following of people that would come to a lot of my paint parties around the area, and it was always nice. I miss them. I miss my peeps. That's why it's nice that we can connect virtually. It's been quite the change, but you know, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that we can still be together and paint together and learn from each other. So I'm just going to keep on adding there, and then I'm gonna take my brush and just make one tree kind of popping off the side here. So there's a little trunk over on the side corner. Let's see if I can pull my, just push it over a little there. And I'm gonna finish this guy off with a trunk around the corner. Oh no, it's coming again, that song. Around the corner, around the country. Okay, and whoever knows it, you're welcome. I think I sing that song like 40 times a day. It's just like always in my head. Always, always, always in my head. How's your trees going, everybody? You feeling good about them? Are they fat? Are they skinny? What's the haps? What's going to end up happening next, so once our trees are on there, I'm just going to fix, my first tree is a little bit see-through, so I'm going to give her a little extra love in here. We're going to make some extra little grassies and little grassy knolls amongst our trees down at the bottom. And then we can start to put our leaves on. And then, yes. All right. Okay, so I got it filled in here a little bit. So right at the bottoms of my trees, this is, I'm going to say this is not mandatory, totally optional. But with my skinny brush, I just get it filled up with paint and flatten it out a little bit. And right at the bottoms of my trees, I'm just going to take my brush and really lightly flick up and off the canvas and just make a few little grassies kind of poking up. And we're going to make a little grassy hill underneath too, but I'm kind of one of those lazy painters that if I already have black on the brush that I'm using, I might as well just keep using it until, you know, I don't need it anymore. It's just one of those things. There's no sense in, you know, going and using a different color if I need to come back to this particular brush into this particular color. So I just load up my brush with some black and I get it nice and flat, and I'm just going to make a few little grass pieces kind of poking up and out from the sides of my trees here. And the more you practice doing it, the better you get. Sometimes they can be tricky and end up being a little bit thicker than expected, but that's okay too because we got all these thick grasses in the background anyway, so who cares? Just for extra dimension. Just to give some more knolly grassiness. And it's just off the sides of the trees, and we can add more later too. But basically, whenever I'm making these grasses, I'm like just barely grazing the canvas. I like try so hard. Sometimes I'm trying to be so light that I miss. I just like totally just miss the canvas. Okay. Now that's just getting us started. You don't have to finish or keep grassing it up. So like I said, we're just gonna take our, you know what? I think we're gonna use my medium flat brush for this. So I got my medium guy here. It's my 1/2 inch flat brush. And right all along the bottom of my canvas, I'm gonna take that black and I'm gonna swoop up with my brush. So I'm just filling it up here. So I'm just taking my brush and I'm Slowly moving along. Now, having a little bit of water again on your brush and in your black paint really helps this process. But up and off, up and off. I'm just gonna swoop from the bottom up and fill this whole area in. And I don't make one straight line. Some are a little bit taller than others, some are a little bit shorter. It's kind of like making a little hilly grassy knoll here. But it's the silhouetted one. It's like the one that you can't see because it's starting to get dark in the forest. Oh man, I'm so excited for Halloween this year. I know that it might be canceled, but because it's going to be canceled, I think I'm going to just take the extra time to do it at my house really good. Make it super scary. All right, so I'm just keep cruising along, and my brush is like flat. So I got it flat on my canvas. Right at the bottom, I'm like underneath my canvas, and I'm flicking up and off, up, off. So when I start doing that, you can see my bristles start to separate a little bit. Man, that can be hard to say sometimes. My bristles start to separate, and then I get some little wispies at the ends of my brush strokes here. So the more you kind of flick up and off, the more they separate, and then the more you get a grassy look at the bottom. And I'm doing it all the way across. And then when I'm around the trees, I make them a little bit higher, so they kind of looks like the trees are on their own little stumpies. Here, I'll get in a little bit closer just so you can kind of see a little bit better there. So I put my brush down at the bottom and I just flick up. Flick, 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 flick. And it's picking up some of those greens from the grass again, but I don't let it bother me. I kind of like it. If it does bother you, just go over it again. It'll eventually dry and you can just put black right over top. And if you're feeling extra fancy, just go around the sides of your canvas too, so that you have like a 360 view. You can have a nice finished grassy knoll on the other side of your canvas on both sides. This one's a tree, so you can finish your tree on the other side too if you want to. Make sure it's all nice and finished at the bottom. One thing you got to do is flip your canvas over and paint the bottom when the time is right, which means usually when you're done your painting. There we go. It's starting to really come together, don't you think? I hope you guys are feeling good about your paintings. I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to finish up whatever grassies that you have to do. And then we're going to start to put the leaves on top. So just make sure that you have enough red. You need some red and some yellow and some orange to make the leaves there. Get her done. All right. Oh, my numbers are kind of popping in and out, so I'm going to assume that my internet connection isn't being super amazing, and I just apologize for that, guys. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to ask me the questions. So as we're just finishing up the bottoms, you can always take your skinny brush, and this you can do at any time. It depends on how you're feeling, how your grass looks and all the things. But you can just take your long skinny brush and make a few longer grasses if you want. You can make a few little tufts and puffs of grass. This is where like the little rabbits live and stuff, under the trees and the grassy knolls. That's where they live in my neighborhood. The 8 million bunnies that live in my neighborhood. They're very adorable. I see lots of baby bunnies all the time. It's very inspiring. Okay, so let's get a full view here. And I'm giving my medium flat brush a good rinse. And make sure you have enough red on your palette. So it's funny because I've been teaching painting. It's at least been 4 years now. It might even be going on 5 years. And there's something weird with leaves and trees. Now, what I find is that you have all these branches, and the first instinct is our brains really want to follow along each branch with each leaf. But that's not always the case in what we see. The trees are very abundant and full, and maybe not in this particular painting, but we really want to fill up this whole area. We want to go over the branches, we want to go in between the branches, and we want to make sure that this whole area is really, really nice and full of red leaves, okay? Don't try and follow each branch. You can, okay? I'm not going to stop you from doing that. But that's not the point. The point is to get a nice full picture full of leaves. So I'm going to take my my medium brush and some red paint. In one little swoop at a time, I'm going to make kind of like a little square. So actually, I'll start here just so you see better. So I'm just taking my brush and I'm mute. That's it. I'm going to get in a little bit closer just so you can see that a little bit better. Okay. So I got my brush and I'm mute. That's it. And I'm just filling in this whole area, all with little red strokes. And red is a very see-through color. It's very transparent. So you're gonna see the black shining through the backs of the leaves, and that's okay. We're just filling this whole area up with tiny little swoops. Okay, and we're doing that, and they can be bigger, smaller, wider, however you want to do it. But the whole point is to fill it all in. Now, I think the secret key too is you want to see each individual stroke, but it's okay if they overlap in certain places too, okay? And the general shape of it is we get a little bit lower on the sides down here, and we're kind of tapering up towards the top, and then we're going to taper back down over to the other side over here. All right, so just keep taking your brush and filling it up, and you can fill up the top too. It's all good if you want to like really goop it on there and get some good texture. That's always fun. I love getting goopy. And then they're kind of still going all in the same direction. Now, if you want to switch directions, you can always start this way. And I think that's more, I'm right-handed, so it's a little bit awkward for me to do it this way. So maybe if you're left-handed, you can swoop all the way over to one side. If you're right-handed, you could swoop from the left over to the right side. However you feel suited. So the first step is I'm going to fill this all in with red. And then we're going to take a little bit of orange and a little bit of yellow and just fill in any kind of little gaps and maybe spaces that need some extra leaven, and then we get a nice dynamic tree line. Just fill it in. And a really good method to use is just, if you don't know if it's right or not, whenever you take a step away, take a step back from your painting and take a look, you see where there might be an empty space that needs to be filled or something that needs a little extra leaven. Okay. So that's pretty good, I think. I think I'm happy with that. Maybe just a couple more little red swoops over this way. And I'm going to make just, let's say, 4 or 5 little leaves that are kind of falling towards the ground, and I'm just going to make them really small, just a couple, maybe falling. I'm going to make 6, just not too many. Okay, once that red is on there, I'm going to give my brush a rinse, and I'm going to grab some orange paint, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to make them more, just a little smaller. So the red leaves are the most prominent leaves in our painting. When I take my orange, I'm just going to kind of use the corner tip of my brush and just make little dots. So you can still make like a little swooping action, but I'm not trying to take over the red. I'm just trying to fill in a few of these little spaces. And what ends up happening is you get your orange mixed in with a little bit of red, which is perfect. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to use the orange the whole time and fill this all in. Parfait, mes amis. Just keep going. And let me know how this is making you feel. I really hope this is keeping you peaceful and making you feel good. Just remember the theme for the year is you got this. You are an incredible individual and you can withstand any kind of challenge. And if you can get through this painting, you can definitely get through school 100%. It's going to be really nice. I mean, you guys have been out of school for a long time too, right? So I can't imagine it's got to feel good. A little bit, at least. So you can see I'm just starting to fill in all the little gaps with tinier little swoops. Boop-a-doop-boop-boop, boop-a-doop-boo. Tiny. And I'm not even, I'm not being particular about where they go. I'm just letting myself be free and putting in all sorts of little things. I'm just going to put just a couple little orange falling leaves in here, not too many. And okay, so now we put on the yellow. All right, and the yellow is basically half of the amount of orange. Same deal though, just tiny little dots. So I take a scoop of yellow with my brush, and I'm just going to use the corner of my brush and kind of dab in a couple little yellow spots. Just brighten it up in there a little bit. It's nice to have that little bit of contrast. Now, you can use other colors in here too. You don't have to just use fall colors. It's just nice because it is going to be fall soon. It's still technically summer, so let's not let that go yet. We still have a few days left to enjoy the summertime. But if you wanted to like redo this painting, man, you could use blues or purples or pinks. You could get really creative. And that's what I love to see. I love to see a good amount of creativity in your paintings and make sure that you know that it's okay to use whatever colors are calling to you. It might even be nice to put a little bit of green in here too. Green is a very fall-y color. Or even brown. Brown would work too. And just dabbing it in. Just tap it in. Ah, and it's all filled up. Man, I'm so happy with how this is turning out. How's everybody loving their paintings? I didn't know how it was gonna go, but I'm pretty stoked on it, if I do say so myself. Now, like I said, you can always take a step back and you kind of assess your own painting. Take a look. Maybe there's some spots that you feel like there's something missing. And maybe you do want to add an extra few colors in there. Maybe you would like to add some more grass or an extra tree for that matter. Maybe you want to put some birds in your tree or a squirrel. Lord knows I love me a squirrel. I think I'm the only person in my neighborhood who likes squirrels, but anyways. And you know, the very last step of every painting that we have to take our pencil or paintbrush and sign our name, because you have to claim your painting. Am I right? Am I right? Right. And voila, you did it. You made it. We got through this amazing time together. I am so proud of you guys for showing up today. Thank you so much for painting with me. This has been so fun. And just remember, we have another paint party on Wednesday night. And we're going to be painting some pumpkins. Here, I'll go grab the painting to show you. So Wednesday night, we're going to be getting all festive and painting this sweet pumpkin stack together. I'll be posting the more details on that in the next couple days, so keep your eyes out for that, friends. And yeah, let's just remember, we got this. You guys are amazing. And then when you are done your paintings, make sure you take a picture. The best way to take a picture, because I get a lot of pictures of like just the painting. I need you to put your face in there too. It's so nice to see who made the painting. It makes me feel so happy. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. Anyways, I'll just stick around for a few I'll stick around for a few more minutes while you guys finish up. Thinking about what else is there? I'm just really happy with how this turned out. I love fall painting. I have so many fall paintings coming up soon. We have a couple paint parties. Just make sure you keep in touch with my events page. You can go on my website, juliespaintparty.com, and check them out, or just on my Facebook page too. And stay tuned for some new exciting classes coming up too. If you're a homeschool mom or anything, I'm just trying to figure out a whole bunch of stuff that we can do with our kids in the upcoming months. Mostly creature based, so I hope you guys really like painting and drawing creatures. Thank you so much. Thanks, Shani. Oh, I'm glad. I'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks, Sharon and Danielle and Donna. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I wish you all the best. And I really hope I see you on Wednesday too. I really hope this made you feel good. And if it did make you feel good, please share with your friends. Share this link. Oh yeah, and that's what I wanted to say. So I did start a YouTube channel. So what I'm going to do is when this party's done, I'm going to save the video and I'll end up uploading it to my YouTube channel. So if you need to watch it again, or you can share the YouTube channel with your friends too if you want to. And with that said, perfect, Rosalie. We'll see you on Wednesday too. Yay. Okay, friends. With that said, make sure you send me your paintings. You can either post them in our group or you can send me a private message, whatever works for you. It's all good. I can't wait to see them. And I'm just wishing you tons of love and peace and happiness. All right? So take that, and I'll see you on Wednesday. All right? Bye.